Okay, for this assignment, you're going to be using sheets from Google Documents to calculate the percentage of time that's spent in interface. All right. Now, you actually saw me do this in class, so you should be able to do this on your own. All right. I'm just going to kind of give you a quick introduction of how we do it. Now, the first thing I'm going to suggest is that if you're going to do the sums, it's always easy if you're trying to make a graph to have the thing you're trying to graph adjacent to the thing that you want to your axis is. So I'm actually going to scroll all the way up to the top here, and I'm actually going to insert a couple of rows here at the top. I'm going to insert one above, and I'm going to insert another above. All right, so I want you to do that. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to, first off, calculate the total number of cells in each of the phases. Now, if we do that, what that means is we're going to have to do it for both plant and animal cell together. Afterwards, you guys are going to repeat the process that I'm showing you for both the plant cells and the animal cells and see what you come up with. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I want to do a sum. Now, there's a couple of ways of doing this. I could actually type it in, or I can use the symbol. All right, I'm going to actually type it in for this one because equals sum, open parenthesis. This is always going to be the same. Open parenthesis, and then I'm going to drag the column below. This is going to be the total number of cells found in interphase, all right? All right, so so like Taylor Wayman down here found 58 in interphase, and whereas Brittany Safrino only found 4 in interphase. Those are all well within the realm of possibility. Now, to complete the equation, I'm going to just type in close, and then I hit enter, and that's going to give the sum of all those. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply, if I want to do that, I could actually do the same thing over again, or I could click on the function key, do sum, and it puts in the function automatically. I don't have to type it. And then I just drag down to these guys, and I get the same. I should get the same thing. I should get a sum for all those. Enter. Many of you know, though, that Excel is designed for lazy people. It's actually a really great little program. All right? And what it does, it says, okay, you don't have to type that in every time. If you click on the cell and you drag your mouse over until it turns into a cross, a black cross, on the lower right-hand corner, you can then just drag that formula all the way across, and it will do a relative fill. If you notice over here, up at the top, this is the actual formula. All right. If you notice the formula, this is the sum of E4 to E62. This is the sum of F4 to F52. It does it relatively all the way across. Now that's actually kind of cool. Now the other thing we can do, if we wanted to make a formula, is there's a couple of ways we can do this. Actually, Excel will do this for you, but I actually want to kind of prove what we're doing. I want to find out what percentage of the time is spent in interface. Well, to do that, I need to get a sum, the total of everything, and over here in the corner, I'm actually going to actually do another sum. So it's kind of slightly off the screen. I apologize for that. Equals sum. I like typing it in because I know it's always going to be saying open parenthesis of these 5 cells. The number of cells: telophase, anaphase, prophase, interphase, metaphase. Okay, all the way across. Close the parenthesis. Hit enter. Cool. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to do something to make that work. Let's go with it. We're going to move that over to this side so you can see it. Okay, so it's 1915 is the total that we come up with. All right? So, now, what are we going to do? Well, what I want to do is I want to do a percentage. So, a percentage is over up. So the question is, what percentage is 1477, the number of cells that are in interphase, out of 1915, the total number of cells that we counted? All right, because if you add up all the cells in interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, those are the total number of cells we counted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a percentage. So I'm going to do equals this number divided by 1915. And all I have to do is I take this row. I'm going to click on the row, and I'm going to convert the entire thing into a percentage by just clicking on the format as a percent. Boom. 77.13. Now you're probably thinking, well, I actually want to do a relative drag fill again. I want to do the percentages of all these. What is 289? What is 41? What is 66? What is 42? Unfortunately, when I drag it over, it does do a relative drag fill, but it screws things up because the total is in column J. If you look at it, again, if we take a look at this column up here, it's J3. The problem is, the next one is K3, which there's no information in that. That's not the sum. I actually wanted to divide each one of these, but I wanted, so E, F, G, H, and I always want to divide it by J. Okay, I want to divide it by J3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a dollar sign. What that dollar sign says is, that whenever I divide, I always want to divide the column by J3. So in this case, E3 is divided by J3. But next, when I drag it across, now it's dividing F3 by J3. And I'm just going to drag this all the way across, and that's going to give me my percentages. All right? So life is good. All right, so now what am I going to do? Well, now I want to do a graph. Now, my problem has been that for some reason I've been having a hard time grabbing all this stuff, but I'm going to try it again anyway and see what happens. I'm going to start off in the E. I'm going to drag all the way across. I'm going to drag all the way across to interface. Now, let's see. This little picture of a graph up here, insert chart. I actually need to switch the rows and columns, and I'm going to do a pie chart. And unfortunately, you notice for some reason it's not catching the interface. I'm not sure why that is. It seems to be doing only prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. The one thing I do like about it is you can see the percentages on this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit escape. And I'm going to say, okay, well, let's drag it a little bit further. I want it to actually also catch the slide number thing. Okay? Insert the chart. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I assume it would graph everything you select, but for some reason you need to go one side further over. Graph, switch columns and rows, put in a pie chart, and you'll notice it shows the different phases. Now, I've been having a little, and I'm going to just hit insert. I've been having a little problem getting this to work completely correctly. I'm not sure why that is. But what I'm going to do, one of the things I would like is I would like all the different percentages to show up and be labeled. So I'm going to ask you guys to see if you can figure out how to do that. Anybody figures out how to do that is going to get extra bonus brownie points. All right. I do want to see if I can get this to work. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, so this chart isn't in the way, I'm going to move it to its own sheet. There, now I have the chart in its own sheet. So therefore, okay, so if you notice, I've got down here at the bottom, I got sheet 1, that's all my data. Sheet 2, sheet 4, pay no attention to that. So now here's the thing. Well, this is kind of cool, but I'd like to actually, I'd actually like to do animal cells and plant cells separately. So let's try doing something. I'm going to click up animals and plant cells. And I'm going to go to sort, data, sort column C from A to Z. Alright, now you notice I got all the animal cells together, all the plant cells together, and I scrambled up all my data, which kind of messes things up, and it probably messed up my chart. Yeah, it messed up my chart too. Alright, so what I may want to do in order to prevent this from happening, okay, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go undo. And I'm going to say, you know what, I want to actually do one just for the animal cell, just for the plant cell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here. I'm going to copy the entire chart, copy the entire spreadsheet, and add a new one. Paste. So now I get the whole spreadsheet all over again. So now I can do some significant data crunching. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of this because I'm not going to be using all of this information. I'm going to select these two rows, and I'm going to delete these two rows. Then what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort column C. So I'm just going to click in column C. I'm going to be data, sort column C, A to Z. Now you notice I've got all the plants and animal cells separated out. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to scroll this down, select all the plant cells, not select those columns heads, then I'm going to right click, cut, put another sheet in, and I'm going to paste them over here. So now I got all the plant cells on one sheet, and I'm going to actually this is sheet 8. I'm going to rename the sheet plant cells. Notice I just did that by clicking where it says sheet 8. Sheet 7. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to call this animal cells. Alright, so you notice that I've got a lot of things going on here. For one thing, all of my labels are in the wrong place. So I'm going to click on this whole row. I'm going to go cut row, and I'm going to go up to the top, and I'm going to insert this row above. Now, whoops, edit, paste. Let's paste it in. There we go. So I got all this stuff back in. Now, all I need to do is I'm going to go back to the tutorial, and first I'm going to sum up the number of cells in each phase. So I'm going to have to insert a row, insert a couple of columns. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the percentage of cells in interphase for animal cells, prophase. All right, and then the next thing I'm going to do is then I'm going to make a chart. Okay, so for instance, this chart here that says chart 1. This is, I'm going to rename this stage of mitosis, animals and plants. That's really long. All right, I'm going to create a chart for just the animal cell mitosis and the chart for just the plant cell mitosis. All right, the bonus feature that I'm going to ask you guys to do is see if you can figure out how to get all the percentages to show on all of these. Okay, so I'd like all the percentages show, even the percentage of telophase, which is like 3%, 4%. All right, so your assignment, you're going to complete a chart showing the percentage time is said in plant cell mitosis in each phase and animal cell mitosis. We're going to compare and see if there's a difference.